I am Malcolm Van Delst, and this is an excerpt from Do the Wrong Thing, a book series or extra long novel. It opens with a woman trying to kill herself. She says, I don't know why I tried to do this. By way of explanation, tells her life story. We are at the beginning of book 4. We're not at the beginning. We're about a quarter of the way through. Working title is Eyes of Different Colors. Last week, Ava learned that Posey came to Arbor fleeing social services, that Posey's current partner is sexually harassing Posey's daughter, and that lesbian relationships are not easier than straight ones. This is a continuation of a chapter called Gandhi. My day off. At home, there's a knock on my door. Strange. I enter the living room to see Janice, a tiny bird-like woman from the shelter, peering into my entrance vestibule. She wears a heavy winter coat, even though it's warm enough for a t-shirt and shorts. She always wears that coat. Can I have those shoes? She says when she sees me. She points through the fragile glass panes that fill my outer door to the shoes and boots inside. I glance at the inner door with its half-glass construction and move to the window closest to the entrance, which is open. No, I say, pulling the window closed. You need to go. I put as much authority into my voice as I can. She does, without protest. But for the first time, I regard my wall of beautiful windows with dismay. The back kitchen door isn't much better, though. At least it's not glass. And I'm back on welfare. Our shelter's funding gets cut. I apply at another couple of homes without enthusiasm. They're fully staffed. Besides, along with us, 2 other shelters are closing. It's a bad market for homeless shelter workers. Next chapter, R&D. The unemployment office is pleasant. The way the sun outlines skewed rectangles on the short brown carpet, the pale yellow boards framed with fake wood and placed equidistant from each other with passageways to walk through. The boards filled with ivory index cards, also placed equidistant from each other, held in place by rows of white slats, organized by industry, secretarial, restaurant, laborer. Each card containing smaller rows of typed or handwritten letters and words, the typed letters in faded black ink, the handwritten ones dark blue. It's not supposed to be attractive, but there's a rhythm to it. I leave my vulnerable, beautiful, lonely apartment in the morning on a rail like those index cards. Researcher, art and culture. Requirements, humanities degree or equivalent experience. Good communicator, attention to detail, blah, blah, blah. A government make-work job for young people. Always better than a real job. I copy down the information and head to the bank of kiosks at the back. Catalast Research is in a ground floor suite, its impenetrable glass walls interrupted by forest green metal strips every few feet, horizontally and diagonally, plants everywhere. They're trying to make this office homey. Do you have computer experience? Anne of the husband and wife team asks. She's overweight with long, uncombed hair, but sparkling eyes. Her husband, Jerry, beside her, is pale, brown hair thinning and graying, wearing khaki pants and a blue shirt. He doesn't have a pocket protector, though he does have 2 pens in his left breast pocket. He nods and smiles as she talks. I don't, but I learn quickly, I say, trying to exhibit an excitement I don't feel. It's not difficult, she says. I'm sure you'd pick it up fast. Catalast Research, their baby, they tell me, is less than a year old. They're running it on a shoestring, hoping neither of them will have to return to their government jobs. We're helping artists find funding opportunities, Anne continues. Often organizations don't want artists to know about funding because if no one applies, they don't have to pay out, she says. Until now, it was difficult to find organizations and their opportunities, but we're changing that by creating a big computerized and searchable database. Jerry shows me their computers. This is my favorite, Anne says. It's a Macintosh. Computers are the future. The more experience you can get with them, the better off you'll be. I can learn in my own time if I need to, I say. I'm kind of interested in computers. Julian loved them and said the same things about the future as Anne and Jerry, and I know what people want to hear. Anne glances at Jerry. He nods. Do you want to start next week? Anne asks. I have an idea, I say to Anne and Jerry on Monday. You know the computer that you said you might have to sell, the second Macintosh? If you're willing to pay me with that instead of money, that would be a great way for me to get one. What do you think, Jerry? Anne calls to the front of the office where Jerry sits with his back to us. He turns around. I think we can do that. How about Anne and I discuss it tonight and let you know tomorrow? Okay, I say. Since the contract is for 4 months, if Anne and Jerry pay me with the computer, I can stay on welfare. I'm hatching a plan. Who am I? Who am I? That night when I was in high school, staring out at the crescent moon after reading Harlan Ellison, that feeling has grown to engulf every day and every minute I'm not distracted. Who the fuck am I? The answer must be in Germany, the country my parents came from, my roots. I'll go to Germany, find a job and live. I can sell the computer to help pay for the trip. Why does making money always involve bothering people? Is Jumpstart still running? How much money is available per artist funded? Is the age limit still 30? Are the deadlines still June 1st and October 31st? I call up strangers and accost them with questions, write down their answers, then type those back into a blue screen computer, print out what I typed in onto long reams of paper. I don't know what Anne and Jerry do with the paper, add its information to the database, I suppose. Next chapter, home is where the rent is paid. 4 months later, I'm living at home, my Macintosh computer sitting on the empty desk in Stephen's room. Now, every morning before the sun comes up, I get on my bike and head out, pedaling down my parents' lane, my breath coming out in fog. Along the highway, cars whiz past. Approaching from behind, they create a long shadow of my bike and I in the gravel, and from the front, they blind me momentarily. My eyes trying to keep pace with the dark, light, dark. I remember Shadow and the 6 girls he raped. Anyway, I don't have a choice but to make this journey. I've got to have a job. After the Catalyst research contract, I gave up my apartment and moved back here. Mom and I will finally make up, I hoped, again. I'm also leaving for Germany in 2 months. If I don't have enough money, my parents will buy the computer from me and sell it. 20 minutes later, I cross the train tracks as the sun peaks over the horizon. I pull into a muddy yard. The factory, an arched tin shed echoing the irrigation tubing we make inside, is long and deep, with an office and lunchroom at the back, 2 roaring machines up front. I hold a sheath of netting so that the black plastic tubing coming out of one of the machines flows directly into it. It's not easy. The netting is tight and the tube advances at a quick pace. There's a guy working on the machine next to mine doing the same job. He smokes while he works. In front of us, the factory's massive front doors stand open. We watch the sun rise over fog and frost-dusted fields. Not that the beautiful view touches us. We regard it with indifference, anger even. How dare it be so serene while these hulking machines roar at the back of our heads, shake the ground and force their progeny into our arms and hands which are stiff and rapidly becoming numb. Well, I think that anyway. My coworker doesn't seem affected. Day 4 on my new job, my arms are jello, hanging off my shoulders, and my hands, curled fingers, rigid, like decoratively arranged shrimp at the end of a jello salad log. My coworker, nonchalant with his cigarette clasped between his lips. I thought men and women were completely equal, that I could do anything a man could if only I applied myself. But now, I wonder if I'm wrong. He doesn't struggle. I manage 1 more week, then quit, demoralized and exhausted.